What's going on, Kings? It's Keefe. In this video, I'm going to be doing something that's been highly requested, and that is teaching you how I meditate. This is something a lot of you guys requested, so I want to explain it to you right now in a pretty simple way so that you can start implementing it, and you can get the same positive results that I've been talking about experiencing from doing daily meditation. Now, before we get into that, hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss new videos. This channel is all about helping you level up and become that high-value winner of a man you were born to be. Now, let's get into the subject. So, how do we meditate? Okay, so listen up. There are a lot of different ways to meditate. Like, it seems like there's just an infinite amount of ways to meditate. But the one thing about meditation that's true is you have to have an intention when you meditate. Even if your intention is to not have an intention. My intention is to just be still, or maybe to try and listen to something beyond myself, some spiritual kind of thing like that, or whatever it is. You still have an intention, even if the intention is no personal intention. Okay, so understanding that we need to have an intention. What are we trying? What is the intent behind this meditation? Now, there's tons of different ones you could do. You could do a visualization practice where you get into a meditative state simply so you can visualize and you can get yourself kind of caught up to this vision you have for your life. And this can be very helpful for making you into a new version of yourself, where you kind of habitually train yourself to act in a different way in this meditative state, and it becomes something that becomes natural when you go out into your daily life. Now, I used to do that. I've found better ways of going about kind of training new behaviors into myself, so I don't do that as much anymore. But the type of meditation that I do is focused on self-awareness and letting go of a lot of blocks, okay? I have found in my life that every time I've had a breakthrough on anything, it was when I broke down a mental hurdle. Okay, and so pretty much I figured out that every single thing that was holding me back was within myself. It wasn't anything outside of myself. A good example of this, I see this a lot of times with athletes. So for those of you who like the NBA, you might have watched this previous year's championship, and Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks won the championship. Now, it seemed like, if you were watching it like me, about the first few games of the playoffs, Giannis was one version of himself. And then there was kind of this game that occurred, and I think it was Game 5 against the Brooklyn Nets in the second round of the playoffs, where he got just clowned for this performance. He didn't play well. Everyone was expecting they were going to come out and win this game, and he lost, and it looked embarrassing to him, and he was getting lit up on all the talk shows and all this kind of stuff. And from that moment forward, as somebody who was watching this, he seemed to have become a different guy. I think he really experienced a mental breakthrough in that moment, and you watch how the results change. And these situations happen with great athletes all the time. LeBron James, another NBA example, had this happen the year he lost to the Dallas Mavericks in the finals. He comes back, and it's just like that pain caused a breakthrough. Now, what this intent of meditation in a self-awareness context is just so that you don't have to go through that god-awful pain to experience this transformation. We want to become aware of our mental blocks and our hurdles beforehand, so we don't have to go through something painful to cause a change to occur. So what I do when I meditate is very simple. I literally just sit down on the floor, close my eyes, focus on my breathing, and what I do is I observe my thoughts. Now, this is key to understand how to do, because what most people do in their day-to-day lives is they just act as their thoughts. They think that their thoughts are them, and so they just follow their thoughts around and do whatever their thoughts tell them to do. They react to the world around them pretty much. What self-awareness is allowing you to do is become aware of those habitual ways you are behaving. And those habitual ways you are behaving, the ways you are thinking, the self-image that you have, all of that is creating the reality you find yourself in. So what we want to do in self-awareness meditation is step back and recognize all those things and see them from an observant position rather than being those things, okay? And so you do this by simply, you close your eyes again, start to focus on your breathing, and just witness your thoughts, okay? And what you can do to start this practice is you can say, who's thinking this thought? You tell yourself that mentally and create this kind of separation that will occur mentally where you say, oh, okay, I see the thought, but I'm not the thought. And so now you're witnessing your thoughts. And basically what you want to do is practice witnessing the thought. And what you want to do is just let go of all the thoughts that you don't want to experience. So, like, for example, if you're somebody like me, for a long time, and still sometimes to this point, for some reason when I wake up, I've just got all these complaining voices going on in my head. It's like I'm just like bitching and moaning about everything. I don't know why. It was just like something that used to happen all the time. And I became aware that I was always doing this, and I just realized, because I realized, okay, I'm not my thoughts, I'm witnessing my thoughts. If you're not your thoughts, you can just let them go. And so this is what self-awareness allowed me to do, is recognize I'm not all this complaining stuff. So I let go of all the complaints, I let go of fixating all that, decided I wasn't going to do that anymore. And this works for fear, this works for anger, this works for anything. This works for any block you're experiencing on your life. You just have to recognize that the block's there. Now, this is very simple on smaller things, okay? So like something like that complaining, that's pretty easy to just recognize, okay, I'm doing that, I'm not doing that anymore, and just choose to let it go. And you let it go basically by recognizing again that it's not you. And when you recognize it's not you, you have a conscious choice to allow it to be there and just choose to let it be, okay? And when you do this, it will just kind of float away. The thought you're experiencing, the feeling you're experiencing will go away. All right, you just got to stop fighting it, stop putting up that resistance. Now, there are bigger things that you will discover through self-awareness, bigger parts of yourself, more things you are identified with that will take more time for you to recognize as you do this practice. And those are the kinds of things that you want to get to the root of. And this is another powerful part of self-awareness in meditation, is you recognize maybe a reoccurring feeling that comes up, a reoccurring opinion, a belief, something like that you feel like is holding you back. Or maybe there's an area of your life that you have not made like progress on in a long time, and it's frustrating you, and you want to take a look. If you're not making progress on something you want to make progress on, you've got some sort of block in there. So we want to get to the root of that block. Now, this is another way you can notice things through self-awareness. You can meditate on that specific area. So let's say you've got a block around money. You feel like you've been trying to get your money right for a long time, and you just can't seem to get your crap together. Meditate on the money, all right? Through self-awareness. Become aware of what you think when you think about money. How are you feeling about money? Do you feel abundant? Do you feel scarce? Do you doubt your ability to make money? Do you feel resentful of people who do have money? Like, start to pay attention to the feelings that are coming up. Do you feel like do you tell yourself this story, I never have money? People tell themselves these stories. They say, I never have money, while they're also saying, I want money. And so it's like you're creating this block, and people don't notice they're doing these kinds of things. And self-awareness will allow you to see where you're putting up those roadblocks. And so you can meditate and get to the root of this subject and where the block's at. And when you recognize it, it's going to be some sort of thing from your past of some sorts. You can begin to let that go. When you let it go, you'll watch that your experience of life will have to change. By definition, it will change. It just makes sense. If you change the way you're thinking and the way you see yourself as a person, the way you carry yourself, what you talk about, what you think about, how you act, it's only natural that your world will change around you, unless you think you have absolutely nothing to do with the results that you get in your life. So understanding this is what I do with meditation, okay? I literally use it as a way to become aware of myself. And what happens is, over time, the more you do this practice of becoming aware of the things you're thinking, the feelings you're experiencing, the beliefs, the stories, all these kinds of things that you have that are not helping you, it becomes a daily practice where on a constant, continual basis, you are observing your thoughts and you are aware of what you're thinking without acting on them so impulsively. And because of that, you can see them and you can choose to let them go and choose a new direction. And this is how you become conscious in your life. And becoming conscious in your life means you have the power to choose what you're going to have in your life. You cannot choose what you have in your life if you're unconscious. And this is why people think they're a victim to their circumstances of life. They think they're a victim to their lives because they haven't realized that they're unconscious. They're not consciously making choices, and they're not consciously controlling their thoughts, their actions, their behaviors, all these things. And so they think that life is out to get them when it's really not. You just have to let go of all these blocks, and you'll recognize that this whole time it was your decision what you were going to experience in your life. And only through self-awareness can you begin to recognize that it was you at cause in your life. It was your fault for the good things and the bad things that happened in your life. Now, I hope this all made sense, guys. If you got something out of this video, give me a like, hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.